Hey guys, and welcome to the Silver Spire, where we're going to have two fearsome competitors go toe-to-toe in a glorious domination game. And I think it's a great showcase of not only a really intense game, but likewise how players haven't really adapted yet to the Iron Blasters and how they've been nerfed and changed. So Iron Blasters were by far the most powerful unit in Total War Warhammer 3, one of the most powerful units we've ever seen in a Total War Warhammer game, and has been significantly nerfed. Initially, they could one-shot basically anything. They would one-shot you out of your seat from the other side of the monitor. They were just that powerful. Fantastic long-range damage, good against infantry, good against cavalry, fantastic as well, sniping out characters and single entities. Now, they've gone back way more to what they initially should have been, which is a mobile shotgun unit. However, you're going to see the Ogre player still attempt to use them at this long-range artillery piece, which isn't really what they're about anymore. I highly recommend get them up around the flanks of your opponent and shotgunning down the line. Apart from that, for this Ogre build, we have a Tyrant with a bucket ton of Noblars as well, a mixture of basic ones and trappers with some Saber Tusk packs. So not the most powerful starting army, of course, a lot of that money going in to the Iron Blasters, who have been firing a couple of volleys off here and have done some okay damage to the Hellstriders. They're so not useless or anything like that, the Iron Blasters, but if you had the old Iron Blasters, this unit of Hellstriders would pretty much be dead by this point. We have Hellstriders for the forces of Slaanesh. Looks like 3 units down here on the left. We have some Heartseekers who have been chevroned up, lurking in the trees. And another unit here lurking in the trees as well. And it looks like we've got a load of Marauders with spears making up the main battle line, with a rather gorgeous Herald of Slaanesh with Shadows magic coming in to party as well. It's always fun to see the glorious Heralds of Slaanesh. In fact, I'm a big fan of Slaanesh characters and heroes and lords and stuff in general. They're very fun and thematic to play. So it looks like the Ogre player is going to be sitting back a little bit here. We have Noblars ready to jump on top of Objective 1 where need be. But he's certainly relying on these Iron Blasters to get that long-range damage done early before engaging with the main army. And I think this, once again, is a massive mistake. Look at the ammunition used up on the Iron Blasters. Nothing too crazy, but likewise, they've done barely any damage back. They're going to be opening up some shots now, aiming at those pesky Marauders spears who are lurking down in the ditch, hidden in the water. Shields raised. They're not going anywhere just yet, so they're not too scared of these little Iron Blasters. Looks like cavalry's going to be bouncing back and falling away from the range of those shots anyway. Going to fast forward to the action gets underway, and you can see we've got about 20 seconds now till the objectives do become possible to claim. And Objective 3, of course, is really easy for Slaanesh to jump on. They get a lovely early cap in the middle objective. And I think the Ogre player needs to realise a little bit quicker here. This is like completely wrong of how you play the Iron Blaster. Look, one good volley, you can get some decent damage done, but it's really not weighing up that optimally here, and you need to get far more aggressive with them and your builds in general in this game mode. We have some Spawn Slaanesh which have now been summoned. Looks like they're being focus fired down by the Iron Blasters, who can certainly do some decent damage now, and the Marauders of Slaanesh are quite comfortably going to beat back Noblar Trappers and basic Noblars as they burst forth, bursting along to get into hand-to-hand combat. I like the colour scheme on these guys, and they're charging directly into the enemy, jabbing, slashing, hacking, doing whatever they need to do to really rip and tear the Ogres to pieces. And the Chaos Spawn have hopped on top of them. They're going to be able to grind through this front line rather comfortably here. Looks like the Iron Blast are going to be switching to the Herald of Slaanesh. The cavalry is starting to be activated a little bit by the Slaanesh forces. A Soul Grinder, likewise, has indeed been summoned. Load of Noblars going to be camping on Objective 1, which is all good for them. They got not too big an investment over there, and it's easily going to be enough to actually hold that objective. We'd like to see some units, though, daring a bit of a flank and getting a little bit more bold here. Hellstriders are pushing forward, looking to delve into the Saber Tusks. That's going to be some nom-noms for them, jumping down into the ditch, and they're looking to overwhelm them with a sheer weight of numbers here. Of course, Hellstriders should be relatively comfortable at taking down Saber Tusks. Likewise, you have more burst forward. However, they get ambushed by some Mournfang cavalry who are lurking in the trees. And that's going to go quite well for the Mournfang cavalry there. The Herald of Slaanesh taking a little bit of poke damage from the Iron Blasters at the back here. Looks like we also have a Noblar scrap launcher online. The Iron Blast has been firing all battle. 400 value. This one is, again, relatively close to the edge of its ammunition, 850. They certainly still can pay for themselves if you allow them to use up all their ammunition, but no longer are they quadrupling their damage value per use of their ammunition. The Spawn are bomb rushing in, and Noblar Trappers as well as Noblars have all been pinned in disastrously here. Ogre Balls also starting to get dragged down, likewise are the Mournfang Cavalry. The Wyvern goes down them, lowering their armor. That's going to allow these Spearmen and other cheaper units to really overwhelm them. Only the Tyrant stands strong in the center. Elsewhere, you see Slaanesh forces are really just forcing their way through the battle line. If they're able to pin back the Ogre player into the deployment zone. That's going to be a fantastic news for Slaanesh player. Just don't push objective 1. Don't get that triple cap. Just get the double cap, and you'll be absolutely fine. Though Slaanesh player is taking a while here to get objective number 3. Would certainly like to see them jump on top of that as quickly as possible. Soul Grinder is scuttling forward as well. We have the Heartseekers just butchering the Mournfang cavalry, who have now been shattered as Iron Blasters continue to pound down at the enemy front line. Looks like they've now finally done some significant damage onto the Herald, who is delving in to the Tyrant's rear end there, looking to try to jump on him and pull him to pieces. Soul Grinder with Sweet Sorrows popped is going to be charging in and trying to overwhelm the Tyrant as well. No, actually going to be circumventing and perhaps going on to the back here to attempt to take down other Noblar scrap launchers. In the back, the Heartseekers have managed to surround one of the beasties themselves. However, there's a giant nearby who's with one big backhand slap there sends all the Heartseekers back into the warp. You know it's a hell of a Will Smith slap if you've been hit so hard you go back into the warp there. Soul Grinder's getting nice and aggressive and really jumping on top of the Noblar scrap launchers. We've got the Musk going down on it as well, lowering its melee defense and attack. Not good news for any Ogre player. And so far it's been all Slaanesh dominance. They've really pushed forward into the Ogre player's clutches. And the Ogre player looked like he wanted that. Having those so many artillery pieces, wants to play the defensive game. And now these Noblars have been allowed move up and around and start contesting objective 2. Now, if of course the Slaanesh player had gone for objective 3 a bit earlier, then this wouldn't be quite so problematic as it is. But if the Ogres can claim this objective, it's going to be a bit of a disaster. And though the Ogre played a really rocky start, I think the Mournfang cavalry coming into the rear end of this force of Slaanesh troops and all the Noblars claiming objective 2 is quite a nice turnaround for the player. The Herald of Slaanesh is going to be summoning a unit of Furies to attempt to pin in the enemy and drag down the Mournfang cavalry and perhaps save the Herald of Slaanesh, who's coming under significant pressure here. And Slaanesh are still keeping up that forward momentum, though. One of the Iron Blasters has already gone and retreated all the way back. The other one is soon to follow. And now we have a mixture of Soul Grinder and Heartseekers who've been pinned on an absolute shift so far. And more spawn. Bomb rushing through onto the Giant. Massacre has gone down though, and he's still doing some relatively decent damage. Tempestuous Puck has indeed been summoned as well, looking to whip up and around. So the middle objective has fallen into the clutches of the Ogre Kingdoms, and they are going to be able to go once again into the lead here on the ticket system. Seekers of Slaanesh bounding into the rear, though, should be enough to overwhelm the Noblars, who have taken to the trees for a bit of safety as the Mournfang cavalry helps deal with the Furies up in the skies. And yeah, this objective is well and truly in Ogre clutches right now. They are going to struggle to get reinforcements there if they can't bust through this front line, which is something they're really suffering with. They've been pinned back in their deployment zone the majority of the battle. Despite this, their artillery isn't turning the tide. Now, the Tyrant is doing a decent job. He's been very tanky for a long time. And look at the beautiful Giant slamming down with his war club. Yes, death and carnage in the name of Slaanesh. And it looks like this Giant may be the key to break in at this front line of Slaanesh. We can see all of the infantry is starting to flee. Scrap launchers launching crap at the enemy. Although there is a rather nasty Soul Grinder in the middle. We are going to get a big spell go down as well. It seems like it is going to be an Overcast Withering go down. Unfortunately, it does seem to actually connect with the unit, the Sabertusk pack, who are running the other direction. So a bit of a unfortunate instance there where the Withering's not going to connect on all these Mournfang cavalry and other such units. Middle objective, once again, is being fought over pretty viciously. Of course, Slaanesh have a much easier path to the objective. It looks like they are now finally going after objective 3 as well, looking to try to get back into the game because ticket-wise, they're significantly behind despite having great map control over the Ogre forces. Now, Spawn are coming back in. We've got some Marauders here as well to boot. And this objective is slowly going to be turning back into Slaanesh flavor, and it seems like the most of those Noblars who did do that brave assault round from objective 1 have finally been cleared up, which is really good news here for the Slaanesh aggression. The Slaanesh Soul Grinder is doing a decent job. Mournfang cavalry great weapons are pretty scary though, and they are starting to cleave the beastie asunder. And we do have Iron Blaster support. These Iron Blasters have been firing all day long. What is their damage value now? It's surely got to be decent. 1.1k, not too shabby. Considering they've used up all their ammunition and have been relatively free to fire, not what you would expect from the unit previously post debuff. The Mournfang cavalry have been driven off once again, though it looks like the Soul Grinder is going to be going down. His armor is sundered and his HP is dwindling. Mournfang cavalry going to raise those mighty great weapons and charge into the fray, trying to hack and slice into the squidgy flesh of the Soul Grinder. He takes a nasty shot up the rear end, and the Ogres are finally free of that Slaanesh aggression with a decent ticket lead as well. but their forces are scattered to the winds. They're very beat up, and Slaanesh at this moment probably just want to do exactly what they were doing in the start. Move all this cavalry and spawn, and once again pin the ogres back into their own deployment zone. Now that objective 3 has indeed been captured by the Slaanesh forces, we can move these Hellstriders back into the action and get them involved, adding even more weight of numbers up against the ogres. And the fact that objective 2 and 3 are both in Slaanesh hands mean they're going to be absolutely fine ticket-wise. There's no need to go for a dreaded triple cap just yet. But the Ogre player continuing to sit back, living in the days where you could sit back with an Iron Blaster and annihilate your opponent's army, and then go for the triple cap in the late game. And alas, those days are gone. Well, I say alas, quite happily those days are gone. My god, the Iron Blaster was pretty gnarly stuff. Hellstriders moving out to the left-hand side with the Heartseekers. Oh, this is just triple... Oh, no. Yeah, no, double Heartseekers. No, 2 Seekers and 1 Heartseeker. There we go. The Heartseekers, 100 kills up to Silver Chevron. Looks like they've been doing a pretty decent work so far. And it looks like more cavalry was tempted to go around for a flank on objective 1, but seeing the Noblar Scrap Launcher, decided against it. Now, the Ogre player is sitting back. He's recovering as much of his army as possible. You can see a load of Noblars have been summoned and Saber Tusks. And then he's going to make his push in, which is smart thinking. Though the ticker is... or the timing is ticking, it's not completely out of this yet. He only really needs to claim 1 objective to get back into this fight. So a load of the cavalry is sitting back in a defensive formation, probably just ensuring that his opponent doesn't come for objective 3. And when he does make his move, they're in a prime position to really rear flank this Ogre build where possible, which is now starting to move up. We have the Noblars leading the way. Cavalry shall follow in suit, with the Giant to boot. And it looks like we have some Ogre Bulls being summoned and a bit more weight in numbers. Iron Blasters focusing down the spawn of Slaanesh, applying that Sundering armor is always quite tasty. And here we go. Sweet Swallow has been popped though, giving a bit more of a boost to that vigor and speed on the Slaanesh warriors, allowing them to stab and hack and slash the Noblars to death. That's tiny bit quicker, and it looks like we may get... Is this a Pen of Shades coming down? Oh, this is going to be glorious stuff. It's only on Noblars. It's not the best value, but it's really clearing out the numbers, which is something that you really want to be doing in Domination. Get rid of the numbers, get rid of the chaff, and it's going to make them that much tougher for them to claim those middle objectives. Double Mournfang Cavalry plus double Saber Tusks going up against the Heart Seekers down here. Looks like it's going to be a pretty even fight. This unit of Seekers got absolutely butchered in their wake. But, however, the Heart renders a lot more power for these Mighty Heart Seekers, who do currently have up to already 1,600 value and 125 kills. We have more cavalry coming, using that mobility of Slaanesh to take out the mobile element over the Ogre Kingdom forces. However, the Ogre's doing much better in the ground game. Looks like they've actually forced their way onto that objective and did start capping it briefly, though some reinforcements in the form of a load of cavalry and infantry should be enough to wrestle it back once again from the hands of the Ogre Kingdoms. And the problem here, going with these mass Noblars. Noblars are great. They'll capture your objectives. They will not hold. They will not do this. If a lot of people then they're really worried Skaven are just going to have a load of Skaven slaves, and it is fantastic having a load of cheap chaff to claim objectives, don't get me wrong. But it's certainly not the be-all, end-all. If you can do big burst damage to them, they will simply run away and not really want to come back and fight another day. And it looks a really dominant game for Slaanesh so far. The cavalry overwhelming Saber Tusks and the Mournfang cavalry in the side. And the Giant is currently dwindling as all his forces once again do retreat. Spawn of Slaanesh pushing up aggressively, driving him away. The Mighty Herald of Slaanesh has been going strong, up to 83 kills. Not a bad performance from the dreaded Doom Lady herself. Objective 2 has actually been somehow claimed by Ogres. Oh, they've got Ogre Bulls still on here, which they need to be a little bit careful about. If they go for a sneaky cap here, a little bit of lapse of micro here from the Slaanesh player, load of Hellstriders simply vibing and not doing anything. They need to get far more mobile, far more aggressive. They shouldn't really be sitting back here and defending it. They should be up here, right on this ledge, fighting and pushing the enemy back as much as possible. But they do have a ticket lead, so they can, of course, afford to be a little bit passive in this way and wait for the opportune moment to strike. The Giant has been a lifesaver so far for the forces of the Ogre. There's been their one backbone solid unit, and he is surrounded by the Heartseekers, and he's not having a good day whatsoever. Poor little, we'll call him Professor Pone. Professor Pone is trying his hardest here up against the just tied, almost a carpet of insects, it looks like. He's slapping them all good and nasty-like, but unfortunately I don't think it's going to be enough for him. We do have Mournfang cavalry charging with a massacre popped on them, increasing their value. It looks like one of the Iron Blasters was re-summoned back into the action, up to 69 kills, trying to appease the Slaanesh gods. But I don't think it's going to be enough for them, and it looks like the ticket's again dangerously close now to being overwhelmingly favourite for Slaanesh. I'd like to see some of these Heartseekers as well whip around the flank and apply pressure to Objective 1. That would drag a lot of the Ogre pressure away from the center, which is where it really matters at the moment. And it looks like they are slowly breaking through once again. Every time they nearly get through, though, another wave of reinforcements seems to arrive from Slaanesh. the Slaanesh player has certainly had nice timing with his reinforcing troops, as well as the majority of his aggressive play in the early stages of this battle. Noblar's going to be pushing up, as well as the Saber Tusks, looking to delve onto the Heartseekers, who have been phenomenal all day. Really impressed with the cavalry contingent so far of the Slaanesh players and how he's used them, and it looks like he is indeed going to be victorious. Really solid victory, relatively dominant stuff, I would argue, from the Slaanesh player, which I believe was Dragonborn of Clan DBD who sent this one in, so thank you for the replay. Very nice play. Was very impressed with the aggressiveness of the Heartseekers in particular. 4,500 gold value on this unit, but it needed more aggression. Keep up the momentum. Such a fantastic early game for Slaanesh, and the mid game allowed the Ogres to sneak a little bit back in. And I thought this was a really good example, though, of Iron Blasters. Look, they still got decent value. 1.7k value on this one, 1.5 on the other, though they were summoned, multiple times and were able to use up pretty much the entirety of their ammunition. But sitting back like this and just shooting your opponent, they don't do that much burst damage anymore, where it can be your entire game plan. Sit back, shoot the enemy, push late game, and, stonks. That's the main plan, right? But unfortunately, don't do that much burst damage anymore, and you need to get them a lot closer. They work as shotguns now, so that spread, as it goes further and further, it's going to get less and less accurate. So it's okay still finds big clumps and so on. You're going to do a lot less damage against key targets, though, because you're so much kind of worse accuracy-wise. So definitely roll them in, aim to go down the flanks, and they can still be a devastating unit. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a really good fun one to cast. Haven't done a domination game in quite some time. So if you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a cheeky thumbs up and subscribe for more glorious Total War Warhammer content in the future. By the release of this, I'm doing this a day in advance. By release of this, hopefully we will also have a roadmap for Total War Warhammer 3, which is pretty exciting stuff. I was going to do a kind of top 5 wish list for the roadmap, but it's coming out so soon, I'm not going to have time to release one unless I release it on the day of the roadmap, which seems a little bit pointless. But yeah, hopefully that's going to be bringing some exciting stuff. Hopefully we'll know when Immortal Empires and all that glorious, first DLC and stuff is on its way. Little links in the description to Twitch, Patreon, and Discord if you guys are interested in supporting the channel in that way. But until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.